Hello everyone and welcome to Universal Woo Woo. I'm Joanne Bennett.
And I'm Roger Baines. And this is the show where we discuss how situations and things affect your life, your world, and your universe.
Hello everyone and welcome to Universal Woo Woo. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Roger. And of course, this is the show where we talk about the things that affect your life, your world, and your universe. And I want to take a little time to thank all of the new folks, all of you that have joined the UWW community. Thanks for joining. We appreciate that. And notice I didn't use the term subscribers because that sounds so mechanical and generic and not really human. And I'm into people. Mm-hmm. We're into people.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So, what have we got on tap today?
So we're gonna continue from a little bit from the last show about arachnophobia and my personal journey with spiders. And I don't even remember, I introduced Peaches here, which is, I don't know if you can see, I can't zoom in, but she's right up here in the corner. And I'll show you a picture. Here she is. Here's a close-up of her. So that's Peaches, and she's my tarantula. She's a teenager. She's not fully grown yet. She will grow to about the size of the palm of my hand, and I'm absolutely terrified of her. So I got Peaches because I wanted to overcome my fear of spiders, which sounds absolutely crazy, but there is a reason why, and I did go into that on the last show, but for those of you that didn't catch that, I'll just briefly explain. From a child, I've been terrified of spiders, especially cellar spiders, and it's just the way they move and the thought of them on me. I couldn't even be in a room with one, and it's been that way since I was a kid. Quite a few years back, I actually was part of killing one, a tarantula. It was horrible. It was my husband at the time had killed it because it was up on the front door to go into the house. It was a huge tarantula, and at the time I couldn't even walk in the house because I was sitting in the car crying and I just wanted it gone. So I kind of felt guilty about that, about actually killing the spider, because normally, I'd get someone to take it outside in the glass and, put it out back to nature. I'd never ever killed one before. So there was that, and then I met Roger, and going to his house often, I would take a shower and then there'd be a spider would come down in the shower and I'd be absolutely terrified. And he'd been in there and there wasn't a spider.
Yeah, it'd be weird, or there'd be one there, and none of the stuff that was happening to her would happen to me. She'd go, "Oh my God, the spider! It came down again. I was taking a shower. It came down right in my face, and but I was a little better this time. I didn't back out. I just stayed there, and then he just went back up." So
yeah, and he's like, "That's fine, just leave them."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't do this." So, but it was just so many events happened in his house, and not even in his house. I mean, like, the little money spiders. I was in the kitchen one day making coffee, came right in front of my face, and I was like, wow, what is the deal with these spiders keep showing up? Then there was one in the bathroom that had an egg sac.
Yeah.
And
never with me, just with her.
Yeah.
Ironically. Yeah.
And my first encounter was I was brave enough to take the pregnant mama under a glass and the paper under it, and I put it outside in the earth because I thought it's going to drown with all this water and stuff. So that's what I did, and I thought, what is it about these spiders that keep showing up? Even when I had surgery a couple of months back, I was waiting to be wheeled into the theatre. This was before drugs. I saw a spider on my pillow, an energetic spider, wasn't a real one, on my pillow, and I thought, right, okay, this is healing for me. This is what they're here for. I spoke to my higher self, and this is definitely what they're helping me with healing, health problems that I've had. So that's kind of my little thing of how it became. And then I thought, well, I need to go. First of all, I said to Roger, I need to go and look at spiders.
Yeah, you wanted to get over the fear. You thought
going to the pet store.
Yeah.
So we went, and I said, okay, I don't think I can handle a full-size one, but a baby one, maybe we could kind of grow together. And then I got Peaches, but when I first got her, she was in pre-molt, which means that they shed their skin.
Like snakes do. Spiders have a skeleton on the outside of their bodies. They're not like us with a skeleton inside. So when they grow, crustaceans too, crabs, lobsters, when they grow, they have to get rid of that so they can expand because it's very uncomfortable. So spiders do the same thing.
So she was in like her pre-molt for a few weeks. And then you have to wait because their skin is too soft and they have to harden up. So you have to wait to hold her. I haven't held her yet. And I kind of don't plan to. My daughter has. I haven't held her yet. She's very docile. She didn't, obviously, she's really slow. So I actually have 7 spiders now. I've got Peaches, which is a tarantula, and I did some research, and my daughter said, well, have you seen this spider? How can you possibly be scared of a jumping spider? Because they're like the puppy dogs of the spider world.
And they're tiny.
And they're tiny. They only grow to the size of your thumbnail. So I got Maybelline, and because these spiders have huge eyes, they actually have 8 eyes, jumping spiders, and they are so intelligent. They've got superpowers, and they figure out stuff, where to jump and stuff. They think about stuff. So I thought, well, if I start off with that really cute little fluffy spider, and here's a picture of Maybelline, then, how can I be scared to touch it? So weeks passed, and Maybelline was there, and she's so cute, and I've got loads of photos of her. And then Roger decided we're going to bring her out. So he was holding her, and he was kind of, handling her. And I was like, oh, no. Because what I didn't want to do was drop her. I didn't want to scream when I felt her on my hand. I didn't want to drop her. So, I was like, okay, closed my eyes and took some deep breaths, and eventually I did hold her. And here's a photo of me, first time ever in my life holding a spider. So that was a very triumphant day.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to hold Peaches. So, this whole spider thing I'm obsessed now. I've got 7 spiders, say little baby ones up to the full size of my thumb, and they've all got names. Maybelline, obviously, because of the lashes. So what I was interested in is finding out more in depth of what this meant to me, is why these spiders kept showing up. Never in a million years would I dreamed I would own a tarantula. No way. A puppy, maybe, a cat. Never a tarantula. Maybe a snake, but So it's definitely, I wouldn't have even been able to sit here next to her, a few months back. But, it's cool. I will hold her, and that's definitely going to be a video we're going to record when I do eventually hold her for the first time. But, I wanted to find out more about what they meant spiritually, and then Roger did some research.
Yeah, did some research on that. I've always liked spiders. Of course, you probably know that based on the story. But as in the last show, as I said, that everything that exists and lives they just aren't here just because. There's always a reason why everything exists, and especially in nature, everything in nature has a purpose and has a responsibility or a job, whatever that is. And the purpose just doesn't lay in nature and the physical, but it's also ties into everything in the entire universe. Because we're beginning to know now, it's beginning to become less woo-woo and much more, because some of it is now able to be proven, even in some cases scientifically, though I don't wait for the scientific community to tell me what's real and what's not, because who knows when they'll get around to it, right? But if you're watching this, you probably have the understanding, if you're watching this show, that everything's connected. We're all connected. And that's beginning to become an understanding that as human beings, we're beginning to get it, to get that side of it. And last week, I spoke about the energetic or spiritual side of spiders, what they're like, what it is that they do. And I talked about how they help to weave the reality. They help to weave the reality. And I don't like to make a separation after just saying how everything is tied together, because spiders are simply connecting us to an aspect of our own self. That's how we're connected. And so when it comes to the spiritual side of things, have you guys ever heard of as above, so below? To that term, or as below, so above? And that's one of the 7 laws that govern everything. One of the 7 laws that govern the universe. It's called the law of correspondence. And many of us might be familiar with the term, but the technical name and all that might be, you might not know that, but many of us heard that. And basically what it's saying is anything that happens in the spiritual or the non-physical has an effect on the physical, and the physical also has an effect on the non-physical. And so those understanding that helps us to really get how this world works. And things that seemingly are confusing can be very clear once we understand the ins and outs of how things work. So in the law of correspondence, it refers to that. And this is where, within this law is where the spiders or the tarantulas, whichever word you want to use, have a great effect. Tarantulas have four legs on each side, 8 in total. And those we can see represent the 4 elements of the planet: air, fire, earth, and water, right? And that's the physical side, because it's also true in the law of correspondence that it's so within, so without. What you've got going on in here is going to reflect and help build your life around you. So you want to make sure that there's the fertile ground inside of you to create all the things that you actually want in your life. Because no matter how we slice and dice, what we have going on outside in our life is simply a reflection of what's inside. That's everybody. That's everybody. And so the inside of that, the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, what corresponds with those from the inside are intuition, thought, emotion, and sensory sensation. So once you understand that, you can understand how to maneuver in this reality and create what it is that you want based on what you're feeling, based on what your intuition is telling you, based on how you're feeling emotionally, based on what your sensory, how you feel physically, and what's going on outside of you as well. So this is where the tarantula or spiders come in, because once you understand that these creatures are masters of manifestation, creating, which is everything I've just said is about creating, because once you can create what you want, you are a sovereign being and you don't need anything other than what's inside of yourself, right? So once you understand how to create, which is what these wonderful beings are here to teach us, or to remind us, because you know everything, you just need to remember it. They're here to remind us of that, and with that comes abundance, and that's the other thing that they're masters of, abundance. Because if you can create your reality, abundance comes automatically. What I said earlier Very important to have an open mind, because you never know what you can discover when you do that. You never know. And if you want more information on what I've just said, just send us a quick message or comments down below, and I'll get you more information, no problem.
And also, if there's anything that you guys, while we're on that subject, want us to discuss or talk about, or you need more information or want to know more about, then just, put it in the comments and we'll take a look. Why I want to get rid of this fear of spiders is that I feel it's blocking something. So I'm actually going to have a hypnotherapy session with Roger to go in and find out, what's going on. So Roger, how would that work? How do you think that could help me and anyone else that's got arachnophobia or any kind of phobia?
Yeah, it's just a fast track way to just eliminate a lot of things and a lot of fears. First of all, we're only born with two fears. When a baby is born, a baby is only afraid of loud noises and heights. That's it. Every human being we're only born with two. Every other one is learned. So what these fears do is they get in the way of us exploring, and they get in the way of us accomplishing, and they get in the way of us finding full enjoyment and happiness in life. And with the fear of spiders, bringing that over to the fear of spiders or arachnophobia, as I said earlier, if spiders represent all that I've just said, manifestation, abundant, and all of that, and there's a fear there, I'm not saying this is the case, but just following it through logically, if you have a fear, that could prevent you from taking the steps to building the life that you want, to building to gaining the abundance that you should have. So the only thing that ever stops us from doing anything is fear. We're afraid to take the risk. We're afraid to do what it takes. And it could be any reason. I mean, the reasons are in a million. One of the biggest ones, well, I could fail. It could be embarrassing. I could be a laughing stock. Fear is the number one thing that stops us from being unstoppable, unlimited. So for me, eliminating all fears that are not rational and not needed is a great thing. And I'm not talking about being cautious. That's being cautious and taking steps and thinking things through. I'm just talking about fears that just don't make sense, that are not rational. A fear of spiders, a healthy respect for spiders, a healthy respect for tarantulas is warranted, but a fear of them is not, because I don't know anyone that knows anyone that's even been bitten by one, much less, hospitalized or anything of that nature.
But they've always been given a bad reputation for horror films, and like Halloween is, so they've been given a bad reputation.
Oh yeah. By the time you're 5 and 6, your thoughts on spiders are completely horrible, and most of the time you've never been near one or near enough to even touch one.
Yeah.
So why? So I'm always mindful of something where there's a great emphasis on it, and there's no real reason for that emphasis. I was going, well, why is that going on? Mm-hmm. Hypnotherapy is a way to find out why you have the fear and then to eliminate it. And often just finding out why is all it takes, and you just start having a good giggle.
Yeah. So what is hypnotherapy? For those that have never heard of it before, or you've heard of it before, but everyone thinks of hypnotherapy as the guy with the dangling watch and you go cross-eyed and stuff,
Yeah.
So, explain what it actually is.
Well, hypnotherapy, there's this hypnosis and then there's hypnotherapy. Hypnosis is the person on stage, and that's the guy or the person dangling the pendulum in front of people.
Make you cluck like a chicken and stuff.
And that is not hypnotherapy. And in most cases, that's a show and it's a hoax.
It's a fake, yeah.
It's you know, it's set up. And if you look into most of those situations, the people who are involved are actors. Okay, are actors. Hypnotherapy is a completely different thing. We all go through the stages of hypnotherapy every day. It's a state of mind. We have 5 states of mind that we go through. I won't get deeply into it. I'll just name them really quickly. We have the beta state, which is the state you're in right now. If you're watching this video, you're aware, you hear, you understand. And then there's the alpha state, which the best way to describe that is the daydream state. You're there, you're already there, but then you're kind of gone. And as soon as somebody walks in the room, you understand, and you see them and you perceive them, and you go, oh, I was somewhere. You know, we've all done that. If you're watching television, if you ever watch your child or your friend or anybody watch TV and they've got that glazed look like that, that's the alpha state. And then you have the theta state, which is when you're really deep. It's sort of the meditative state and the theta state go together. And then you have the delta state. That's the state that you're in when you're in deep, deep, deep sleep. So when you're in hypnotherapy, you're in that light theta state. You are completely aware of what's going on. It's a conversation between you and the hypnotherapist. And you are fully aware and in control of your senses. You're not in la la land. Because because it's a conversation, it's going back and forth. Questions are being asked, answers are being given, and when the session is over and you're back from your theta and back into the beta state, the state you're in now, you start having a conversation about what happened. So it's not, your mind is not being taken over.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. I've heard that so many times that people say that.
Yeah, I've done a session on Jan and many others before, but talk about one of your sessions just in case people
I've had a session with Roger, and the first thing I thought, because I'd never had it done before, was that, oh my God, he's going to take over my brain, or he's going to get into my head, or, what if I lose control? What if I'm out of control and I say something that I don't really want him to know? It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit of a daydream. You know exactly what you're saying. You know exactly where you are, and you know you're exactly in control the whole of the time. If you want to stop, then you stop. And it's nothing like what people think it is, you know. And it's not until you probably have your first session that you realise, oh God, this is easy. Like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. So my session with Roger was really amazing. I actually had some past lives come up.
Yeah, it was a past life regression.
Yeah, past life regression, and it was amazing. And I found lots of information that kind of, I had the aha moment of, oh, that makes sense of why I've always done this, or why I've always been that way, or thought that way, or, so it's definitely something I would definitely recommend. So, to get back to how it feels, again, you're totally in control. No one's going to take you over. no one's going to brainwash you. No one's going to, get inside your head, because, as I say, you're not even in the state of sleep, really, are you?
No, it's different. Yeah, it's a different state of mind.
And one of the things that I really was fascinated by is the unconscious mind,
Yeah.
Because you have to turn off the chattery mind. You do have to, get into a relaxed state, but think of it, when you're driving and you get home and you think, wow, how the hell did I get here? That's your unconscious mind. You know, it's not telling you when you first learned to drive and you have to, oh God, I've got to put that in that gear and put the brake on and signal and look in the mirror. Now you do it automatically without even thinking about it. And that's where you tap into.
That's what you tap into. And also, to give you another, if any of you have ever had like a guided meditation, it's not a guided meditation, but that's a lot of it will feel like a guided meditation, but you're going deeper into your mind to find answers or to release things. Like in this case, we started talking about it, just based on this phobia. You can release phobias. You can find out things. You can. Well, why do I always do this, and why do I always feel this way? There's so many things that you can accomplish with hypnotherapy, particular spiritual hypnotherapy. I live by it. It helped me.
Even going to like, why do you always pick the wrong partners? Why do you always, why have you always never got any money, or why do all those kind of things, phobias, depression. It can help with all of that. Yeah.
So it's amazing because it's one of the tools that I used to help me get over a lot of the experiences that I had from childhood that were detrimental, that affected every relationship I had, affected work, affected my emotions. I had PTSD. I had, as I mentioned before, I had a childhood trauma. And a lot of us have those things. And I just want to say that, if you have any of these things that you're dealing with and you want to free yourself from them, you can. And being medicated is not going to do it.
No, definitely not.
Being medicated is not going to do it. So it's a tremendous tool that we now have
to work within.
Yeah, to work within, and empowering you to go in, see where it actually is within you, and decide whether you want to keep it or you want it gone. So that's truly empowering. We don't have to rely on the same folks who, especially if they have failed us in us reaching wellness, because we have a lot of conveniences. We have technology, we've got the cell phone, we've got the TV, we can do everything we want to do. We can sit down, even this show, it's going to get edited and get posted within a couple of hours. What took maybe 20 years ago, weeks is going to take hours. We've got all this fancy stuff and technology and abilities that we didn't have before. None of that equates, and none of that means wellness. It's just convenience. But wellness, that's a whole nother story. And even that can be put into the palm of your hands through hypnotherapy and many other means, meditation. And I do all of those. But hypnotherapy gets right to the point, and the results, they're immediate. They are immediate.
So if you are interested in having a hypnotherapy session with Roger, there's a link below to ontologywellness.com where you can find out lots more and even book a session, or you can book a free consultation.
I think that's it for the show. Thank you for joining us, and remember to share, like, and subscribe, and be sure, important, to hit the bell icon so you're notified when we upload the next show.
Well, thank you so much again for watching, and keep working on, working within.